Hi Year 5, welcome to your third one subtest lesson. Today we're going to go back to verbal reasoning. So if you remember, verbal reasoning is shown like that. So we're going to look again at some word problems, but also in verbal reasoning, bizarrely, they also sometimes include some number problems as well. So we'll look at those at the end. Like always, if you need to go back, just rewind, or there'll be certain points that I'll ask you to pause the video and then you have a go by yourself, so make sure you've got a pen or a pencil and some paper to help you. So let's look at this first lot. So it says, in these questions, the three words in the second group should go together in the same way as the three in the first group. Find the word that is missing in the second group and mark it on your answer sheet. So, in the first group, we've got these three words already given to us. We've got man, mat and tip, and mat in the middle is the word that's kind of been created from man and tip, and we're going to use the same process to find the missing word from bug and dew. Now, we've got our answers, potential answers at the bottom, so we've got bud, beg, dug, bed, wed. We've got the answer of bud, and we're going to work out how we got that. Okay, so what we can see is with mat here, okay, this M matches up with that M there because there's only one M, okay, so it's the same letter. This A matches up with the only A that's there, so we've got that letter. And then the T comes from this first letter here. So what I'm looking at is I've looked at the first two letters of man and I've looked at the first letter of tip. And together that's created mat. So I'm going to do exactly the same thing to find the missing word here. I'm going to look at the first two letters. So I've got B and U. And then I'm going to look at the first letter of the last word. So I've got D for bud, okay? We'll go through a few of these, so don't panic if it doesn't quite make sense. So I'll read you the solution. It says, the first two letters of man and the first letter of tip, I'll rub this out just so you can see, are put together to make the word mat. In the same way, the first two letters of the word bug and the first letter of the word dew are put together to make the word bud. Okay? Now what we'll do is we will go forward and we'll have a look at some together. Now, I have got my whiteboard pen ready because some of these are going to be a little bit more complicated than the one we've just done, but we will go through it together, so don't worry. We will do this one as a group, then you're going to pause and have a go at this one, and I will go through the answer, okay? So, with this one, we've been given the first three set of words, including the word in the middle that's been created from occupy and repeat. From here, we've been given snouts and chisel, and we're going to create a word in the middle using the same pattern as we used to create cape here. Now, they've been a little bit mean here, okay, because we've got this C. Now we've got two C's here, okay? I don't know which C they've taken. So in occupy, we're looking at the second and the third letter, okay? They're both C's. So I look at exactly the same letters in the word snouts. The second and the third letter is N and O. So my first letter of my answer is either N or O, okay? Then I go to the A, okay? Now the A, there are no A's in occupy. So the only A that I can take from this word here is this A here from repeat. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, the fifth letter. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to look for the fifth letter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now, it's an E. Now, there are no words that I know that start O-E. So I'm going to assume, because I don't have any options here, that that is not going to be correct. So I'm working on this one, okay? Now I'm going to go to the P-R problem again. Two P's. P in occupy, P in repeat. So let's look at the two different options we could have. So the P in occupy is the 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth letter. We look over here in the same place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th letter. So that's option 1, looking hopeful. Now let's look at the P here. It's the 3rd letter in repeat. We're going to look at the 3rd letter in chisel. 1, 2, 3. So the other option is any I. Doesn't make sense. Without even working out, okay, the last letter, I think we can work out is going to be next, but let's just check that anyway. So if you look at the E, we've got 2 different options of E we could have. If I look at that word move over here, it's not going to be an H, okay, but it's going to be the S here. So our answer is going to be nets. Now, this one here, we've got thigh, hat, atlas. So hat has been made from the words thigh and atlas, okay? And then you've got to find what this missing word is here. We've got dwarf and moths. Your possible answers are for, who, was, or would, okay? So I'm going to ask you to pause the video now, have a go at finding that missing word in the middle. Hopefully you've had a go. Okay, now, problem 1, okay, with this one here is, again, they've been a bit mean, and actually what we've got is no H's here, but we've got 2 H's here, okay? Okay, so hopefully you've had a look at all these groups of words, and you thought, okay, which of them is opposite? So, with this first lot, we've got lock, close, away. We've got key, distant, shut. I think, okay, well, something that is close, the opposite to that is something that is distant, something that is far away. And then these next ones here, we've got hobby, unusual, rarely, habit, often, seldom. So I think there probably might have been a few words you potentially could have looked up here. But what I was thinking is, okay, something that happens rarely. I mean, it rarely, let me think of a good example. It rarely snows on Christmas Day. Very rarely snows on Christmas Day. But it is often quite chilly. So you're looking at opposite. So things that happen lots and things that rarely happen. And then the last one, we've got heavy, glow, stiff, shine, hard, flexible. Well, I know that something is stiff is something like this table, for example, and something that is flexible is something like this piece of paper. So I know that is the opposite, and so I'm going to go like so. You'll also be getting some of those to do at home. Now, bizarrely, in verbal reasoning, we also have some number work to do as well. Doesn't make sense to me, won't make sense to you, but we just have to embrace it. Okay, so it says, in each question, find the number that continues in the series in the most sensible way and mark it on the answer sheet. This one is super easy. We have got 2, 4, 6, 8. I'm hoping that you all said 10, because we know our 2 times table. Right, I'm going to read you this because this shows, this explanation, how it can get a little bit more tricky than this. In this series, you add 2 each time. For other series, you might have to perform a different sort of operation. Addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. There also might be 2 series involved. I think series is a bit of a complicated word. What they're saying is there might be 2 patterns, basically, in one long line of numbers. The first main comprising of the first, third, fifth number, for example, and the second comprising of the second, fourth, sixth. If that doesn't make quite sense to you, don't worry, because it will make sense shortly. So, let's have a look at some examples. So we'll look at, I think we'll look at the first one, and then I'll pause and you can have a go, and then we'll go through all the answers, so don't worry if it doesn't make quite sense. So, this first one, we have got 27, 26, 28, 25, 29, 24, 30. Now this one I will tell you, if you want to pause, I will tell you it has got 2 patterns in it, okay? If you want to pause now and see if you can work out what those patterns are, you can. If you're staying with me, great. You might have noticed that we've got 27, 28, 29, 30, that would be 31 in there. And then, we'll do a different colour to show you, we've got 28, 25, 24. Oh, I think we can probably all work out that next one's going to be 23. So that's an example of a sequence of numbers having kind of two different patterns in, two different ways that you can work it out. Okay, I'll pause at this point. Have a go at 23, 24, 25. Don't worry if you get stuck because we're going to go through them. Hopefully you've had a go. So, 23, we have got, I will refer to my handy sheet because I have worked it out. So, with 23, we have got the numbers 4, 8, 11, 15 and 18. So, first of all you think, what do I notice? What is the number going on by or back by basically? So, I noticed that 4 to 8, each time we plus on 4. And then I thought, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. Each time we're adding on 3. And then I thought, well, 11 to 15, I'm adding on 4. And then I think, oh, I've done this with Miss Goodry before. I'm looking at a pattern. So then I think, okay, that's going to be adding on 3. Yes, it is. And that means here, this one, 18 plus 4, okay, is going to be my missing answer in here. And I can double check that because if I look along, oh yes, I can see my missing answer. Okay, number 24. Now number 24, they've given you quite a long chain of numbers, so it gets a little bit confusing. Particularly in the middle, we've got 22 and 22 together. So, right, again, I noticed something you might have noticed by fact. I'll start you off, and if you want to pause, you can see if you can work it out. So what I did, I looked at it again, and I thought, right, what do I see? I see that actually, these numbers here are kind of just going down. So I've got 28, 25, 22, 19, 16. And then I looked at the other ones, 32, 27, 22. That could be a way that why we've got two 22s together. So, if I look at 28 to 25, with this one we're taking away 3. Then I see I've got 25 to 22, we're taking away 3. And that pattern continues. So now let's focus on the top bit. So on the top bit, change the colour so you can see, 32 to 27. Hopefully you've now realised, like, oh, taken away 5. 27, take away 5 is 22.